Analysis of charisma, comfort, and realism in CG characters from a gender perspective. The authors are Victor Araújo, Bruna Dalmoro, and Soraya Halpmus. Our affiliation is PUCR Brazil, and I am Victor Araújo. The number of female characters has grown in games, movies, and other media. However, in the game industry, there was a 16% growth in female protagonists, according to Statistical.com. According to Draw, most artificial beings in movies are assigned to female gender to ensure viewers' comfort. However, the percentage of male character has always been higher than female character in recent years. According to law, we tend to attribute human characteristics such as gender to technologies, from normal to strangest. But how is the perception of defined genders of CG characters? Does perception change depending on the viewer's gender? Avoid feelings of discomfort is important for a CG character to be more human-like, which can improve the experience of watching movies, playing games, and others. A famous case where it caused this discomfort feeling was the genius character in the first trailer of Disney's Aladdin movie in live action, even though he has always been considered a charismatic character. There are negative examples, Genius and Tarkin in Star Wars Rogue One, and positive examples, Leia is also in Rogue One and Luke in the Mandalorian series, where real actors have been replaced by CGI. According to dictionary and to Max Weber, charisma is compelling attraction or charm that can inspire devotion in others and is closely linked to leadership. So, charisma is a type of leadership that a person, in our case a character, can exercise over one or more people. So, many famous CG characters are adorable by a lot of people. But what is the relationship between realism and that adoration? For example, the difference between genius cartoon charisma and genius realistic charisma. Does gender also influence this case? Does the character realism influence the perceived comfort and charisma? So, our goal is to investigate the relationship between comfort or charisma perceived by the participants, all participants and separated by genders, in relation to the characters, all characters and separated by genders. Thus, we chose several CG female and male characters from different media. We created a questionnaire to measure the perception of realism, discomfort, and charisma about the characters, images, and videos. And we evaluated qualitatively and quantitatively. To make it easy to understand our data, we've created some definitions. PGE and CGE is a tuple that returns perceptual data. PG indicates participants' gender, so A equals to all participants, W equals to woman, and M equals to man. CGE indicates characters' gender. A equals to all characters, F equals to female, and M equals to male. So we created four hypotheses. Hypothesis 1, defining that all participants perceiving female characters equals to all participants perceiving male characters. Hypothesis 2, defining that woman perceiving female characters equals to woman perceiving male characters. Hypothesis 3, defining that men perceiving female characters equals to men perceiving male characters. And hypothesis 4, woman perceiving all characters equals to men perceiving all characters. About related work, the uncanny valley UV is a theory that assesses the perception of comfort and realism about various artificial beings. Initially, the UV evaluated the perception of robots, but over time it evaluated characters created with CG, as in your case. The UV is represented by a chart where the vertical axis presents perceived comfort or discomfort, and the horizontal axis presents artificial beings distributed in order of human likeness. The works by Katia et al. And Dio et al. Evaluated aspects of UV theory with characters from different media, as well as in our work. In the work of Timo et al., the authors found that male characters are stranger than female characters. In the work by McDonald et al., results showed that people had more correct answers when they saw female characters. Regarding charisma, in Grove's work, the author found that women are classified as more charismatic than men. Ridgel said that charismatic individuals are lively and full of life. However, in CG characters, we found no work related to charisma. So, about characters, we chose the same number of female and male characters in movies, games, series, and computer simulations. Some characters from the work of Dio et al., since it all used characters from different media. New characters following the steps taken in Dio's work. So, character needed to have anthropomorphic features. It should not be placed in an unreal place. Scenes focusing on character's face, and the character should wear normal minimal clothes to avoid distortions in perception. Cartoon characters, semi-realistic characters, and very realistic characters. In this case, thinking about the distribution of characters from the left to right in the human likeness axis of our comfort chart, which was inspired by the UV chart, comfort perceived on the vertical axis and realism perceived on the horizontal axis. So, pictures and movies were obtained from the YouTube platform. The videos had no audio, lasted between 10 to 20 seconds, and we limited our search to videos with large amount of views. So here we can see all the 20 characters used in this word. From A to J are the female characters, and from K to T, the male characters. In addition, we can see female and male cartoon characters, for example, H and L, semi-realistic characters, for example, B and K, and very realistic characters, for example, D and T. We used three questions, also based on the work of Dio et al. Question 1. How realistic is the character? Based on three Likert scales, unrealistic, moderate realistic, and very realistic answers were used to order the characters in the comfort chart, for example. We used three scales of realism according to Katir et al. Question 2. Do you feel some discomfort or strangeness looking to this character? Is a categorical question. Yes or no answer. Aims to categorize the perceived comfort. Question 3. How would you describe this character? Is another categorical question. Charismatic or no charismatic answer. Aims to obtain the perception of charisma of each character. The entire questionnaire was assembled on Google Forms and transmitted on social media. We asked participants to respond about their gender and whether they agreed to participate. The process was divided into two stages, in which all characters are presented randomly. First stage, an image of each character was presented, followed by the three questions. Second stage, a short video of each character was presented, also followed by the three questions. The questionnaire was answered by the 100 participants, 42% women and 58% men. Regarding our experimental results, using the scales of question 1, we used the three thresholds to separate the characters into three groups. Unrealistic characters having realism average values between 1 and 1.5, moderately realistic characters between 1.5 and 2.5, and very realistic characters between 2.5 and 3. Then, we discretized the values between 1 to 20 for all characters, then for female and then for male characters on the human likeness. So, the left we can see the comfort chart of all participants perceiving female characters, and on the right perceiving male characters. Observing the characters N and K in the chart in figure B, we can see the indication of a valley. While in figure A, it can be said that there are two valleys. Perhaps this could be the fact that character C and character H in figure A may be incorrectly positioned on the vertical axis. On top of the orders, are similar on the horizontal axis, qualitatively the generated curves can be very different, as can be seen, for example, if we compare the left chart at the top, woman perceiving female characters, and the left chart at the bottom, men perceiving female characters. Comparing the charts on the left, female characters, and the chart on the right about male characters, the men charts seem to more closely resemble the structure of the UV chart. In addition, we performed a statistical analysis using what we call some signet rank, Kruskal-Wallis, and man-Whitney rank tests. For comfort and charisma analysis, we performed the tests with two gender participants versus two gender characters versus three levels of realism versus video and image equals to 24 in total. And we used a significant level of 5%. So, regarding comfort in hypothesis 2, women felt more comfortable with very realistic female characters than very realistic male characters. It indicates that in realistic games, women can feel more comfortable playing with female characters than with male ones. In addition, the result is in line with drought work. That is, women can be more comfortable with female characters, and it is in line with the work of Tina et al., which showed that male characters were stranger than female characters. Thinking about products with high levels of realism, the industry needs to guarantee a representation if it wants to attract female audience. The idea is to use female characters. In other cases, women and men felt similarly comfortable, and people felt similarly comfortable for both female and male characters. Regarding charisma, we refuted hypothesis 1, hypothesis 2, and hypothesis 3. So, very realistic female characters got higher charisma percentage than males. These values are consistent with the result of women being considered more charismatic than men in gross work. Therefore, if the industry wants to transmit charisma, the idea is to use female characters. Regarding hypothesis 4, men perceive more charisma in unrealistic characters than women. It may be an indication that the charisma of the unrealistic character may be more important for male viewers. In another result, cartoon character had higher percentage of perceived charisma. So we hypothesized that our results seem in accordance with Disney's characters choice regarding cartoons' famous characters. So for the industry to convey charisma, it is important that they continue to develop unrealistic characters. About our final considerations and future work. Regarding comfort, in this work, we discussed many aspects and performed several statistics analyses showing that there is a strong relation between perceived comfort and gender of participants and characters. Regarding charisma, our participants in images and videos perceive more charisma in female characters than in male characters. In possible future work, we intend to use our own 3D models to vary several factors between genders, such as motion control, light, texture, realism, and others. These are the references used in this presentation. And thank you very much for your attention.